Good morning, sir.
Republic Day.
Okay.
Anyone is ready?
Yes, sir. I'm ready.
Sir,
I
Yeah.
have, sir. Yes, I.
Name? Hello.
Yes, sir. I have a 72nd Republic Day's speech with me.
Ready with you?
Yes.
Start.
Uh, okay. Greetings to all of you on the eve of 72nd Republic Day on the world's largest and most vibrant democracy. In this land of ours, enriched by diversity with many festivals, our national festivals are celebrated by everyone with great patriotic fervor. We celebrate the National Festival of the Republic Day with enthusiasm and express our respect for the national flag and our faith in the Constitution. This day has come to mean a lot to the Indians living within the country and abroad. Yes, 71 years ago on this very
Just,
day,
just, just a minute.
yeah,
What is the date? What is the year?
okay.
Speech given by whom? There should be some introduction, no?
Yes, sir. This is Shruti, and I'm talking about the 72nd Republic Day, that is the last year once, which was
Who
spoken
delivered
by the
the
President of India,
speech? Huh?
which was spoken by President of India,
Who is the president?
Ramnath Kovind.
Yeah, there should be some introduction about yourself and the speaker. Start.
Yes. And shall I start this from starting, sir?
Yes.
Yeah. Namaskar. Greetings to all of you on the eve of 72nd Republic Day of the world's largest and most vibrant democracy. In the land of ours, enriched by diversity with many festivals, our national festivals are celebrated by everyone with great patriotic fervor. We celebrate the National Festival of the Republic Day with enthusiasm and express our respect for the nation flag and our faith in the Constitution. This day has come to mean to a lot to Indians living within the country and abroad. 71 years ago, on this very day, we, the people of India, adopted and enacted and gave to ourselves a unique constitution. For all of us, then, this day is also a pause and ponder over the core values that the Constitution propounds. These values are justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity, outlined in the preamble of our Constitution, are sacred to all of us. Its abiding adherence is mean not only for those who are mandated to govern, but for the people at large. And every Indian salutes our farmer who have made vast and populous country self-reliant in food grains and dairy products. Despite adversities of nature, numerous other challenges for the COVID-19 pandemic, our farmers sustain the agricultural production. A great nation is fully committed to the welfare of our farmers. Just as our hardworking farmers ensure food security for the country, the brave soldiers of the armed forces ensure security of our national boundaries and amidst savage conditions. And freezing cold at Saichen and Galwan Valley in Ladakh with temperatures as low of 30 minus 50 to 60 degrees Celsius to the scalding heat. In Jaisalmer with temperature as high as 50 degrees Celsius on land, in the skies, and at the vast coastal areas. Our warriors are vigilant every moment. Every citizen feels proud about the bravery, patriotism, and the spirit of sacrifice among our soldiers. That's it, sir. Thank you.
That's it, complete speech.
No, no, no. It's a lot, sir.
Yeah, we are in the LLB, not in LKG. Have to read
Okay.
complete.
Yeah, yeah. I'll start with. Sorry. Last year, as humanity almost came to a halt in the face of a calamity of gigantic proportions, I often found myself reflecting on the central message of the Constitution. Our effective response to the pandemic would not have been possible without our constitutional value of fraternity. Indians have been like a close knit family, making extraordinary sacrifices to protect each other in the face of the common enemy of coronavirus. I am thinking here of doctors, nurses, paramedics, healthcare administrators, and sanitation workers who put their own lives at risk to care for COVID 19 patients. Some of them even lost their lives. Along with them, about 1.5 lakh people became victims of this pandemic. I convey my condolences to the bereaved families. Our frontline corona warriors were ordinary citizens who turned out to be extraordinary. When the history of the tragic chapter which is not at over is written, I am confident that the future generations will behold you all for the heroic response to the crisis for which no one could have truly prepared. Given our country's population density, diversity of culture traditions, natural and geographical challenges, taking precautionary measures against COVID 19 was far more difficult for us, yet we have managed to check the spread of the virus to a large extent. Despite the serious calamity, we have succeeded in taking forward our activities in many spheres. The pandemic threatened to derail the young generation's learning process, but institutions and teachers quickly adopted new technology and ensured that there was no break in education. By conducting not only free, fair, but also safe elections in Bihar, which has high population density, and in union territories of Jammu Kashmir and Ladakh, with difficulties of access and other challenges, our democracy and the election commission have accomplished remarkable feats. The judiciary found help in technology and continued to function and dispense justice. The list is long. And I am sure that this love for humanity and the spirit of sacrifice will take us to great heights. The truly are human who die for the fellow beings. Let us look for 2020 as a year of learning. There were miracles of revitalizing Mother Nature, which taught humanity a hard lesson that has a small is not expedient but complementary to the big. I'm sure that with a view to reducing the risk of such pandemics, the issue of climate change will be accorded top priority at the global level. And converting a crisis into an opportunity, the Prime Minister gave a call of Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan or Self-Reliant India Mission. Our vibrant democracy, our enterprising and talented fellow citizens, especially the youth, energize our efforts in shaping a self-reliant India. The demand for goods and services in the country, the domestic efforts to meet them, and the use of modern technology in such efforts are strengthening Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan under this mission. Steps have been taken for economic growth as well as employment generation by promoting micro, small, medium enterprises and making the startup ecosystem more robust. It has become a movement being taken forward by the people themselves. Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan is in the line with the aspiration to shape a new India by the year 2022 when our country turns 75. This year. This will be a significant milestone in the country of the facilities for every family to doubting the income of farmers in order to build an inclusive society of New India. We are giving special emphasis on education, health, nutrition, upliftment of the underprivileged, and welfare of women. Yes, so still I have to continue or
That's it.
it's very long, sir. It has more papers.
Huh?
It
It's
has
a
more
learning
papers.
process. This is class. You have to learn the speeches also.
Yeah, yeah.
This daily addressing a speech is more important. That's why I asked you to read. At least starting with the reading of a speeches, you know many things.
Yes.
And next,
Sir, can I go ahead, sir?
yeah, Sachin.
Sir, today I want to tell the 17th Republic Day speech given by Mr. Our President Sri Ramnath Kovind ji on 26 January 2019. Uh, Dear fellow citizens, my greetings to all of you on the evening of 17th Republic Day. This is an occasion to uh, commemorate the values of our democracy and republic. This is an occasion to reaffirm our commitment to liberty, fraternity, and equality across our society and among all our citizens. And above all, this is an occasion to celebrate India, the spirit of being Indian. Every Republic Day is precious, and every day in the life of our Republic is precious. Yet, this year is a little extra special. On October 2nd, we will mark the 150th birthday of Mahatma Gandhi, who led us and who inspired oppressed societies in Asia, Africa, and elsewhere to freedom from colonial rule. Gandhiji remains the moral compass of our republic. His teachings are still the touchstone to measure our policies and initiatives. His 150th anniversary is not for India alone. It is a joy to be shared with the world. A few weeks after Gandhiji's birthday on November 26, we will mark the 70th anniversary of adoption of our constitution. This enlightened and far-reaching document laid the foundations of our republic. It was the work of men and women of principle and patriotism. The members of the Constituent Assembly, in particular, we recall the role of Baba Saheb Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar, who chaired the drafting committee in his honor and in our Constitution's honor. The nation will celebrate Constitution Day this year in appropriate manner. The values that shaped Indian independence and that continue to shape our republic. The values included in our democracy and our constitution are also the values that uphold the supremacy of the people of the India. This year, the people of India, each one of us have another responsibility of voting in the general election and electing the 17th Lok Sabha. The ideas and idealism of our democracy will come into full force. Once more, as we do every 5 years, voters will deliver their verdict and write their destiny. This year's election will be the first when voters born in the 21st century will contribute to electing a new Lok Sabha. An election is not just a political exercise. An election is a collective call to wisdom and collective call to action. It represents a renewal and a recommitment to the goals and hopes of a shared and egalitarian society. It represents the diverse and yet singular urges of the people and the Republic of India. This makes the very act of voting a sacred act. Please perform this act. Who the voter chooses to vote for is up to his or her. I would only request all eligible voters to go out and vote. Our country is at a key juncture. In some of respect, this is an critical and formative a period as the late 1940s and early 1950s. Decisions and actions of our today will shape the India of remainder of 21st century. As such, this is not just a once in a generation movement. It is once in a century movement. Having said that, let us remember that this election is the only a milestone in the journey towards fulfilling the aspirations of our people and building a developed India. India is at the doorstep of eliminating extreme poverty for the first time in memory. A program of universal and equitable healthcare has begun to be rolled out. Affordable medicines and medical devices and implants are becoming a reality for more and more sections of our people. A greater number of Indians than ever previously have access to proper housing with modern sanitation and electricity. Connectively in the form of ports and inland waterways, upgraded railways and new metro services, national highways and rural roads, cost-effective air services to the interiors of India, and of course the surge in the mobile phones and data across is bringing us together as never before. India has been united and integrated. Now it is being networked. Leapfrogging and technologies and leapfrogging and enlightenment are empowering our farmers and equipping our soldiers. They are the enabling our traditionally deprived fellow citizens and educating our daughters and our sons. They are exciting the entrepreneurial energies and the infectious startup culture that has made our younger generation and our India the focus of the world attention and administration. Fellow citizens, in my travels across the country and my engagements with all sections of our society, I have sensed appreciation for such efforts and such hard won advance. This is more so in the perception of senior generations that have lived through and strived to overcome the shortage economy in area after area, commodity after commodity. We are converted difficulty into availability. We have done this step by step and year by year. And yet, whether in food, grains, or LPG cylinders, telephone connections, or even the ability to get a passport, changes is apparent and changes is visible. In many cases, technology has been a force multiplier, and in all cases, inclusiveness has been a moral multiplier. Sir, still there are 10 points are there. Can I continue, or can I give it chance to others?
It's up to you. Anyone?
Ajay sir, Ajay Tiwari sir.
Yes, start Ajay. Thank you, Sachin.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, this is 68th Republic Day speech by Pranab Mukherjee sir. On the fellow citizens, on the eve of 68th Republic Day of our nation, I extend warm greetings to all of you in India and abroad. I convey my special greetings to members of our armed forces, paramilitary forces, and internal security forces. I pay my tribute to brave soldiers and security personnel who made the supreme sacrifice of their lives in defending India's territorial integrity and maintaining law and order. Brothers and sisters, when India attained freedom on 15th August 1947, we did not have an instrument of governance of our own. We waited till 26. We waited till 26 January 1950. The Indian people gave to themselves a constitution to secure for all its citizens justice, liberty, equality, and gender and economic equality. We promised to promote fraternity, dignity of the individual, and unity and integrity of the nation. On that day, we became the largest democracy of the world. The faith and commitment of people gave life to our constitution, and our founder fathers wisely and carefully steered the new nation past its troubles of being a poor economy with huge regional imbalances and a vast citizenry, deprived of even basic necessities. It goes to a credit of the strong institutions of democracy built by our founders that for the last 6.5 decades, Indian democracy has been an oasis of stability in the region troubled by the unrest. From a population of 360 million in 1951, we are now 1.3 billion strong nation. Even then, our per capita income has shown a tenfold increase. Poverty ratio has declined by 2/3. Average life expectancy was more than double, and the literacy rate has shown a fourfold increase. We are today the fastest growing amongst the most major economies of the world. We are the second largest reservoir and scientific and technical manpower, the third largest army, the sixth member of the nuclear club, and the sixth member in the race of space, and the 10th largest industrial power. From a net food grains importing country, India is now a leading exporter of food commodities. The journey so far has been eventual, sometimes painful, but most of times exhilarating. What has brought us thus far will take us further ahead. But we will have to learn to adjust ourselves quickly and deftly to the winds of change, evolutionary and incremental growth. We have to accommodate rapid disruptions brought in by advances of science and technology, innovation, more so inclusive innovation. We will have to become a way of life. Education, we will have to keep pace with technology. In the race between man and machine, the winner will have the job generation. The velocity of technology adoption will call for the workforce that is willing to learn and adapt. Our education system will have to join hands with innovation to prepare our youth for lifelong. Our economy has been performing well despite the challenging global economic conditions. In the first half of 16-17, it grew at a rate of 7.2%, same as the last year, showing sustained recovery. We are firmly on the path of fiscal consolidation, and inflation level is the more within comfort zone. Through our export are yet to pick up, we have managed a stable external sector with seizable foreign exchange reserves. Demonetization, while immobilizing black money and fighting corruption, may have led to temporary slowdown of economic activity. As more and more transactions became cashless, it will improve the transparency of the economy. Brothers and sisters, born in independent India, 3 generations of citizens do not carry the baggage of colonial past. 3 generations have had the privilege of acquiring education, pursuing opportunities and chasing dreams in a free nation. This sometimes make it easy for them to take freedom for granted, to forget the price that extraordinary men and women paid to win this freedom, to forget the tree of freedom needs constant care and nourishment. Democracy has conferred rights on each of us, but along with these rights, some responsibilities which have to be discharged. Gandhiji said, I quote, the highest form of freedom carries with the greatest measure of discipline and humility. Freedom that comes from discipline and humility cannot be denied. Unbridled license is a sign of vulgarity, injurious alike to self and others. Fellow citizens, you today are brimming with hope and aspirations. They pursue their life goals, which they perceive will bring them fame, success, and happiness. With single-minded devotion, they consider happiness as their existential objective, which of course is understandable. The search of happiness is in the highs and lows of the day-to-day emotions and the fulfillment of objectives. They have set for themselves, they look for job as well as purpose in life. Lack of opportunities lead to frustration and unhappiness, which manifests itself in anger, anxiety, stress, and aberrations in behavior. This has to be dealt with a inclusion pro-social behavior. Through gainful employment, active engagement with community, parental guidance, and empathetic response for a caring society. Brothers and sisters, on one my predecessors left on my table a framed quotation which reads, and I quote, the object of the government in peace and in war is not the glory of rulers and races, but the happiness of the common man. Happiness is fundamental to the human experience of life. Happiness is equally the outcome of economic and non-economic parameters. The quest of happiness is closely tied to sustainable development, which combines human well-being, social inclusion, and environmental sustainability. We must make happiness and well-being of our people as the touchstones of the public policy. Many of flagship initiatives of the government have been designed to promote well-being of the society. Swachh Bharat Mission aims to clean India by 2nd October 2019 to coincide with 150th birth anniversary of Gandhiji. Increased spending on programs like MGNR EGA is enhancing employment generation to rejuvenate the rural economy. Aadhaar, with the present reach of over 110 crore people, is helping to direct transfer of benefits, plugging leakages and improving transparency. The Digital India program is creating a knowledge economic through universal provision of digital infrastructure and platforms for cashless economic transactions. Initiatives like Startup India, Atal Innovation Mission, and fostering innovation and new age entrepreneurship. Under the Skill India initiative, the National Skill Development Mission is working on skilling 300 million youth by 2022. Shall I continue, sir?
Okay, next. Thank you, Ajay.
Good morning, all.
Next is
Mustafa Khan. Sir, today I would like to speak some few points about speech given by our Honorable President Sri Ramnath Kovind, sir, on 69th Republic Day 2018. My dear fellow citizens, greetings to all of you on the eve of our 69th Republic Day of our country. This is a day for all of us to celebrate and honor our nation and our sovereignty. A republic is its people. Citizens do not just make up and preserve a republic, they are its ultimate stakeholders and in fact pillars. Each one of us is a pillar. The soldier who defends our republic, the farmer who feeds our republic, the forces that keep our republic safe, the mother who nourishes our republic, the doctor who heals our republic, the nurse who tends to our republic, the sanitation worker who make our republic cleaner and hygiene, the teacher who educates our republic, the scientist who innovates for our republic, the missile technology who puts our republic on a new trajectory, the wise tribal who conserve the ecology of our republic, the engineer who reimagines our republic, the construction worker who builds our republic, Senior citizens who look back with pride at how far they have brought our republic, the youth in whom lie the energy, hopes, and future of our republic, and our dear children who dream for our republic. There are so many more who contribute to our republic in diverse ways and whom I may have missed mentioning. Happy Republic Day to all of you. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, Mustafa. Next. Next. Yeah, start Parvati.
My greetings to all of you on 59th Republic. Kalam is the 11th President of India. He extolled the nation's progress in poverty, eradication, economic development, technological advancement, and progress in science, and fostering the spirit of entrepreneurship with Indian families. It was speech that took the nation's right into the heart of modernity. His topic for that day was, "What can I give to my nation but a prerequisite for any contribution to the nation in the courage?" Addressing the importance of courage, he recalled his own personal experience of flying in the Su-30 Mk-1 fighter jet alongside with Commander Ajay Rathore. One young man asked, "You are afraid anytime during the flight?" "Since I was busy in control and instruments, flight operations, performance, and using the radar, I did not have time to allow fear to enter to me." He gave courage to think different, courage to invent, courage to discover the impossible, courage to travel into unexplored path, courage to share knowledge, and courage to remove pain, and courage to reach the unreached, and courage to combat problems, and courage and combat problems and succeed. That's all, sir. Thank you.
Good, thank you, Parvati. Next.
Yeah, hi, sir. Hi, everyone. This is Shravan Singh. Before I begin the speech, I just would like to give a gist of this Republic Day speech of Pranab Mukherjee. Pranab Mukherjee is 17th President of Independent India. In his speech on the eve of India's 64th Republic Day in 2013, talked about the various changes that took place in the country over the last 6 decades. He addressed various issues that hit the nation at the time, from the Delhi gang rape and emerging leader of India to the issues related to the economic reforms and the serious adversities of the line of control on our troops. His speech begins, "My fellow citizens, on the eve of our 64th Republic Day, I extend warm greetings to all of you in India and abroad. To convey my special greetings to the members of our armed forces, paramilitary forces, and internal security forces. India has changed more in the last 6 decades than in 6 previous centuries. This is neither accidental nor providential. History shifts its face when touched right."
Shravan, your voice is not audible.
Am I audible now?
Better. Please go
India
ahead.
did not win freedom from the British in order to deny freedom to Indians. The Constitution represents a second liberation, this time from the struggle-hold of traditional inequity in gender, caste, community, along with other fetters that had chained us for too long. This inspired a culture evolution which put Indian society on a track to modernity. Society fabric remains a work in progress, impelled by periodic reform in law and the momentum of a popular wind. In the last 6 decades, there is a much that we can be proud of. Our economic growth rate has more than tripled. The literacy rate has increased by over 4 times. After having attained a self-sufficiency, now we are net exporters of food grains. Significant reduction in the incidence of poverty has been achieved. Among our other major achievements is drive towards gender equality. No one suggests this would be easy. The difficulties that accompanied the first quantum leap, the Hindu Code Bill enacted in 1955, tells their own story. It's needed unflinching commitment of a leader like Jawaharlal Nehru, Baba Sahib Ambedkar to push through his remarkable legislation. Jawaharlal Nehru would later describe this as perhaps the most important achievement of his life. The time has now come to ensure gender inequality for every Indian woman. We can neither evade nor abandon his national commitment, for the price of neglect will be high. Vested interests do not surrender easily. The civil society and the government must work together to fulfill his national goal. Fellow citizens, I spoke to you when a grave tragedy has shattered complacency. The brutal rape and murders of a young woman who has a symbol of all the new India strives to be, has left our heart empty and our mind in turmoil. We lost more than a valuable life, we lost a dream. If today young Indians feel outraged, can we blame your youth? There is a law of the land, but there is also higher law. The sanctity of women is a directive principle of that larger edifice called Indian civilization. The Vedas says that there is more than one kind of mother: birth mother, a guru's wife, a king's wife, a priest's wife, she who nurses us, and our motherland. Mother is a protection from the evil and oppression of our symbol of life and prosperity. When we brutalize a woman, we own the soul of our civilization. It is a time for the nation to reset its moral compass. Nothing should be allowed to suppress psychonism. A psychonism is a blind to morality. We took look deep into our conscience and find out where we have flattered. The solution to the problem have to be found through discussion and conciliation of views. People must believe that the governance is an instrument for good, and for that we must ensure good governance. Fellow citizens, last year has been a testing time for us all. As we moved ahead on the path of economic reform, we must remain alive to the pressing problem of market-dependent economies. Many rich nations are now trapped by culture and entitlement without social obligation. We must avoid this trap. The results of our policies should be seen in our villages, farms and factories, schools and hospitals. Progress means nothing to those who do not benefit from them. We must act immediately. Otherwise, the current pockets of the conflict, often described as a nexalate violence, could be acquired far more dangerous. Fellow citizens, India's most impregnable asset is self-belief. Each challenge becomes an opportunity to strengthen our resolve to achieve unprecedented economic growth and social stability. Such resolves must have nourished by avalanche and investment, particularly in better and greater education. Education is the ladder that can help those at the bottom to rise to the pinnacle of professional and social stages. Education is the mantra that can transform our economic fortunes and eliminate the gaps that have made our society unequal. So far, the education has not reached to the extent desired. To those who is need, of this ladder, India can double its growth rate by turning today's disadvantages into the multiple engines of economic development. On our 64th Republic Day, there may be some reasons for concern, but none of for despair. If India has changed more in 6 decades than 6 previous centuries, when I promise you that it will be changed more in next 10 years than the previous 60. India's enduring vitality is at work. Even the British sensed that they were leaving a land which was very different from the one they had occupied. At the base of the Jaipur column in Rashtrapati Bhavan, there is an inscription: in thought, faith, in wisdom, in word wisdom, in deed courage, in life's service. So may India be great. The spirit of India is written in stone. Jai Hind. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Singh. Next.
Good morning, sir. Wish you happy
Sir,
Republic Day for all. I'm Sunil, sir.
Who next?
Good morning.
Name?
Sunil, sir. Sunil.
Sunil. Okay.
Wish you happy Republic Day for all, sir.
Thank you. Start.
January 26 marks the 769 Republic Day of India. It was on this.
Yeah, given by the just Sunil, start with the who was delivered the speech, the date and the year, in the name of the. Sunil.
Shall I continue, sir?
Yeah. Who delivered the speech, date, year?
Republic Day history. Republic Day. I tell the history of Republic Day, sir.
Oh, okay, history. Okay, we are in the speeches, no? Yes, start.
January 26 marks the 769 Republic Day of India. It was on this day that the erstwhile British colony adopted its own constitution of prepared by the members of the Constitution Assembly. January 26, 1950 marked the establishment of Indian's constitution as it emerged from virtual colonial past. However, it was on November 26, 1949 that the Indian Constitution was first adopted. By November 26 is celebrated as Constitution Day. The Constitution of Assembly was the body meant of draft the Constitution of India. He held its first session on December 9, 1946, attended by 207 members, include 9 women initially. The Assembly had 389 members. However, after independence and the partition of the India on August 15, 1947, the strength was reduced to 999. Thank you for all.
Thank you. Next.
Hi all, my name is Rajshekhar Reddy. Today I take the honor in presenting the speech of our first citizen of India in the year 2000. He is K.R. Narayanan. Kochiral Raman Narayanan is the full name. He is the 10th President of India who served our nation from 1997 to 2002 as a President and also served the nation as a Vice President from 1992 to 1997. So here's the speech given by K.R. Narayanan on the 50th Republic Day, which we also call it as Golden Jubilee. It was in the year 2000, okay? On the eve of the Golden Jubilee of our Republic, I have the privilege to extend to all the Indians living in India or abroad my heartiest greetings and felicitations. Greetings to the brave personnel of our armed forces who stand guard to defend the unity and territorial integrity of the nation. And I pay my homage to the memory of those who laid down their lives in the defense of the Republic from external aggression and intermittent terrorist attacks across the border. In this solemn occasion, Our thoughts go back to the father of the nation who lived and died for the freedom and unity of our nation, and to the countless men and women followed him into the arena and faced immense hardships and sufferings in the heroic struggle for independence. Our thoughts also go back to the founding fathers of our constitution, whose far-sighted vision and arduous labors gave us a constitution which enshrined the traditional concepts of liberty, equality, and fraternity, adding to them the concept of justice, social, economic, and political, and declaring our nation a sovereign democratic republic. The word republic is no ordinary word. It is a commitment to the effect that in our state, supreme power is exercised not by some remote monarch but by the people. It is an affirmation that the wielder of power in India, the Adhinayaka, is the greatest aggregation of a people as a whole, whom Rabindranath Tagore has immortalized as the Janagana. Let us, on this anniversary, hail that proclamation and commitment. Let us celebrate the exceptional status we enjoy, the status of being the world's largest democracy. Given the checkered career of democracies elsewhere, we can be grateful to be citizens of this republic where an individual, be he ever so high, the constitution and the laws made by the people remain higher than him, and where the executive remains accountable to the parliament. Thanks to our early visionary support to science and technology, we have made advances in that field as would excite human imagination anywhere. Thanks to our kisans and mazdoors and entrepreneurs, the wheels of our agriculture, commerce, and industry turn steadily with the world. And thanks above all to the striving of our agricultural communities, our granaries remain full. From the 1970s, when our GDP grew at only around 3.5% per annum, economic growth rate has accelerated to around 6.5%. It is not generally realized that in the 1990s, India has become one of the 10 fastest growing economies in the world. We can be justly proud of the abundance of our entrepreneurial ability, the high levels of domestic private savings, and also of the high level managerial and technical skills. All these have enabled our economic reforms to have a solid and stable base for further and more rapid growth. This is a day when we take pride in our achievements, but it must surely also be a day of honest self-analysis and self-questioning about where we as a people and a society are headed. And then there is our greatest national drawback, the status of our women, and our greatest national shame, the conditions of Dalits, the erstwhile untouchables. 50 years after our constitution, the plain truth is that the female half of the Indian population continues to be regarded as it was in the 18th and 19th centuries. It is more than 170 years since Raja Ram Mohan Roy caused sati to be abolished. But the infamous practice still manages to raise its head, and what is worse, even gets explained away as suicide or as saintly sacrifice. 50 years into our life in the Republic, we find that justice, social, economic, and political remains an unrealized dream for millions of our fellow citizens. The benefits of our economic growth are yet to reach them. We have one of the world's largest reservoirs of technical personnel, but also the world's largest number of illiterates, the world's largest middle class, but also the largest number of people below the poverty line, the largest number of children suffering from malnutrition. Our giant factories rise from out of squalor. Their condition, our satellites shoot up from the midst of hovels of the poor. Not surprisingly, there is sullen resentment among the masses against their condition, erupting often into violent forms in several parts of the country. If on an occasion like this golden jubilee of our republic, we ponder some of these issues, it would be better for us, while there is need to be honest with ourselves, I must emphasize we must act, not despair. In moments of crisis, we rise gloriously to the occasion, as few societies do. The war in Kargil showed it. The cyclone in Orissa did so too. And even more recently, the stoic fortitude with which the nearly 170 passengers and crew aboard the hijacked plane showed how we are capable of highest endurance, calm, fortitude, and human care. But we do not have the we do not have to reserve our best qualities for our national or natural calamities. They should manifest themselves in our daily life. We are proud to belong to South Asia and to the Asian continent. We celebrate this year the 50th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations with China. We wish that our country and its people every happiness. We want to live in peace with Pakistan. We want the relations to conform to the best traditions of good neighborliness, eschewing terrorist interventions and propaganda of hatred. In the spirit in which Jawaharlal Nehru declared in the Constituent Assembly, I take this opportunity to send greetings to all our immediate neighbors, to the sister continent of Africa, the Commonwealth of Nations, the European Union, the United States of America, and Latin America, to Japan and to the Arab nations and the countries of Pacific and Central Asia with whom we have traditional ties of friendship, to Russia, which our political, economic, cultural, and strategic relations remain strong. I once again extend my greetings to all fellow citizens. May all of us cross the golden milestone and march along the vision of the founding fathers of our republic. There was also another speech by K.R. Narayanan on the Golden Jubilee celebrations of the Supreme Court of India on 28th January. So I would like to take a minute to describe what exactly he mentioned. I deem it an honor and privilege to be present at the inauguration of the Golden Jubilee of Supreme Court of India. The Supreme Court occupies a vital position in our constitutional scheme. The founding fathers have placed great expectations in the court, and the people have reposed their faith in it as the apex court of our independent judiciary. On 28th January 1950, at the inauguration of the first sitting of the Supreme Court, Chief Justice Kania said that the court will stand firm and aloof from party politics and political theories, that it is not concerned with changes in government, that it stands to administer laws of the time being in force, and that it has goodwill and sympathy for all, but is allied to no one. He added that it is the duty of the court to excuse me, to interrupt the constitution with an enlightened liberty. During the last 50 years, the court has fulfilled its duty with admirable impartiality, which has elicited praise from India and abroad. It has interpreted the constitution and not only with liberty, but by also creatively responding to the challenges of the times in what has been called judicial activism. This activism consisted not of creating new law, but in bringing out explicitly what has been implicit in the constitution. The enlargement of the fundamental rights and the elevation of some of the directive principles of the constitution have been done in this spirit. In this manner, the right to work, the right to education, and the right to health and healthcare have been raised to the level of fundamental rights. That's all, friends. Thank you.
Thank you, Rajshekhar. Next.
Sir,
Jyotsna.
yes, sir. Good morning, all. I would like to give speech on Republic Day given by President APJ Abdul Kalam, 2007, 69th Republic Day. He told us how to preserve the Republic every year in the Constitution. Every year on the eve of Republic Day, the President of India delivers an annual speech which often calls for collective introspection. The speeches seek to remind the Indian populace not only about how far the country has to come since its inspection, but also how far we have to go in the pursuit of core ideals that the makers of our Constitution had spelled out. Dr. Kalam quite easily stands among the most India popular presidents this country has ever seen. A man of science, Dr. Kalam was also a symbol of hope, progress and vision for many Indians. In his memorable 2007 pre-Republic Day speech, he controlled the nation's progress in poverty reduction, economic development, technological advancement, and also spoke of the necessity of progress in science and fostering the spirit of entrepreneurship within the Indian families. It was a speech that took the nation right into the heart of modernity. Sir, I was advised by the captain to track targets and also to the ground of using synthetic aperture radar. In addition, I was observing the performance of instruments developing indigenously. The Kalam said that he was continuously busy in flight operations and he didn't have allowed to fear to enter into him. Now, dear friends, dear young friends, you have assembled in front of me and the nation. I have message to courage for you to give, to think different, to invent, to discover the impossible, travel into an explored path, to share knowledge, to remove pain, to reach the unreached, to combat problems and succeed are the unique qualities of youth. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Rosman. Anyone else?
Yeah, tell me what about this 84
Yeah, it's good. You have done smart work. But my aim is, my concentration on try to get some earlier speeches. It is starting with the 1950s.
Sir, should I start?
Kranti,
Yes, sir.
you have the speech, huh?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, start.
No person except Dr. Rajendra Prasad has occupied the office for 2 terms. So I would like to say something about the first speech given by Dr. Rajendra Prasad. It is a great day for our country. At no period, even during the most glorious eras of which have record, was this whole country brought under one constitution and one rule. We have mention of many republics in our books, and our histories have been able to make out a more or less connected and coordinated piece out of the incidents and places which are mentioned in these records. But these republics were very small and tiny in their shape, and size was perhaps the same as that of the Greek republics of that period. It is for the first time today that we have inaugurated a constitution which extends to the whole of the country, and we see the birth of the Federal Republic having states which have no sovereignty of their own and which are really members and parts of one federation and one administration. Our constitution is a democratic instrument seeking to ensure to the individual citizens the freedoms which are so invaluable. India has never prescribed or prosecuted opinion and faith and our philosophy as a room, as much for a devotee of a personal God as for one agonist or an atheist. We shall therefore implement in practice under our constitution what we have inherited from our traditions, namely freedom of opinion and expression. Finally, it is the fitness of the thing and a culmination of our own culture tradition that we have been able to win freedom without bloodshed in a very peaceful manner. The father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi, was not a freak of nature, but the physical embodiment and the consummation of the progress of the spirit of non-violence, which has been our great heritage. And I would like to conclude the last word what he has given. Our republic enters the world stage, therefore free from pride and prejudice, humbly believing that striving that in international as well as internal affairs, our statesmen may be guided by the teachings of the father of the nation. Tolerance, understanding, non-violence, and resistance to the aggression. That's it. Thank you all.
Thank you, Kranti. Next.
And Radhakrishnan speech is there, sir, with me.
Yeah, start.
1 minute, sir. 1967, Radhakrishnan, sir. He reminded us how the destiny of our Republic Day solely lies in our hands. And civilization is not built with the brick and mortar, steel and machinery, but with men and women with clarity of mind, charity of heart, and spirit of cooperation. A vision of quality is an act of moral perception which enables a man in a private or a public condition to see himself in his neighbor. To say other human beings they do not need or not deserve that advantage that we enjoy is to dehumanize them, he noted. Our ties subject because they were not iron, steel, even gold, but of the silken cords of the human spirit. Ability to take the principle and shot at the government of the day. In spite of our increased agricultural output and industrial production, we are unable to meet the requirements of growing population. The drought is worse in this century. He said, even after making allowances for all the difficulties of the situation, we cannot forgive widespread incompetence and the gross mismanagement of our resources. That's all, sir.
Thank you. Next. Anyone?
Nominee of her father who appointed him as
So that's all for the day. So thank you for your great cooperation with regard to the speeches of Republic Day given by the presidents of India from 1950. So thank you for the class.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.